Founded in May 2012, TOPOTEK is a technology company specializing in the development of gimbaled cameras for UAVs. Our flagship products are a variety of hybrid zoom multi-sensor gimbal cameras, with over 100 different models. Among them, the most popular is our recently developed mini-series industrial PTZ camera. The mini-series gimbal cameras, also known as the 200-gram series electro-optical gimbal cameras, have a weight range of 120 to 255 grams. The primary series includes dual EO, dual sensor, triple sensor, and quad sensor systems. Performance-wise, they offer visible light in 1080p or 4K resolutions, thermal imaging in 640x512 with a 9.1mm focal length, and thermal imaging in 256x192 with a 7mm focal length. They also feature laser rangefinders with options for 1,100 meters and 1,200 meters of range. Currently, the main products include 1.4 sensor KHDA609L12, 4K, 1080p dual EO sensor, 640x512 thermal imaging sensor with a 9.1mm focal length, up to 1,200 meters laser rangefinder, supporting 9x digital zoom. It comes with a high-precision professional 3-axis stabilized gimbal and uses dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI, weighing 240 grams. 2 triple sensor KHP290G609L11, 1080p EO sensor, 640x512 thermal imaging sensor with a 9.1mm focal length, up to 1,100 meters laser rangefinder, supporting 9x digital zoom. The camera system uses dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI, weighing 255 grams. 3 dual EO, KHP415S90, 18 million pixel EO sensor, 25mm focal length, and 12 million pixel EO sensor, 6mm focal length, supporting 9x digital zoom, with dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI. It comes with a 10-pin connector integrating connection ports of serial port, Ethernet and S.bus, weighing 150 grams. 4 dual sensor KHP290G609, 1080p EO sensor, 640x512 thermal imaging sensor with a 9.1mm focal length, supporting 9x digital zoom, with dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI. The weight of the 3-axis version is around 200 grams, while the 2-axis version is about 180 grams. 5 dual sensor KHP290G207, 1080p EO sensor, 256x192 thermal imaging sensor with a 7mm focal length, supporting 9x digital zoom, with dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI. The weight of the 3-axis version is around 200 grams, while the 2-axis version is about 180 grams. 6 dual sensor, KHP290G609 Lite, 1080p EO sensor, 640x512 thermal imaging sensor with a 9.1mm focal length, supporting 9x digital zoom, with dual video outputs, Ethernet and HDMI. It comes with a 10-pin connector integrating connection ports of serial port, Ethernet and S.bus, weighing 120 grams only. Currently, the Mini series offers 2 connector types, 8-pin and 10-pin connectors. The 8-pin connector requires an external S.bus decoding board, while the 10-pin connector has built-in S.bus decoding board. For the 8-pin connector, we'll provide an external S.bus decoding board. The port arrangement from left to right is VCC, power, GND, earthwire, RXD, serial port, TXD, serial port, TX+, network port, TX, Ethernet port, RX+, Ethernet port, RX, Ethernet port. When connecting, you should connect the gimbal camera's serial port to the S.bus decoding board, and the other end of the S.bus decoding board should be connected to the air unit, simultaneously providing power to both the S.bus decoding board and the gimbal camera. The connection process for the 10-pin connector is much simpler because it has built-in S.bus decoding board. The port arrangement from left to right is TX+, Ethernet port, TX, Ethernet port, RX+, Ethernet port, RX, Ethernet port, S.bus, GND, earthwire, road, serial port, TD, serial port, GND, earthwire, VCC, power. When connecting, you only need to follow the wiring diagram, and there's no need for any conversion. Please note that the power and the S.bus need to be connected to GND 1080p display. Currently, what's being displayed is the effect of a 1080p 2-million pixel camera. From the video, it's evident that there isn't significant shaking, which demonstrates that the gimbal camera has excellent stabilization. 640x512 thermal imaging display. Presently, we are showcasing a 640x512 thermal imaging display with a 9.1 mm focal length. For targets the size of vehicles, the detection distance is approximately 1000 meters, recognition distance is around 429 meters, and identification distance is about 150 meters. For human-sized targets, the detection distance is roughly 500 meters, recognition distance is approximately 214 meters, and identification distance is about 75 meters. 256x192 thermal imaging display. Currently, we are displaying a 256x192 thermal imaging effect with a 7 mm focal length. For targets the size of vehicles, the detection distance is about 778 meters, recognition distance is approximately 333 meters, and identification distance is around 117 meters. For human-sized targets, the detection distance is about 389 meters, recognition distance is approximately 167 meters, and identification distance is about 58 meters.